We're talking about Leo season. It's here and what to expect, and answering all your questions with tag team readings with my guest, Master Tarot Reader Chris Reck, coming up right now.
He doesn't look like a Devin or David.
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table. No, you look like there's something in your end table that you this too.
My God, we're crazy.
Yeah, he's saying hi, baby girl. He's saying hi, baby girl. And is there significance with like image of a rose at all?
He would
Does that
always
make sense?
give me a rose.
Okay, so he's like doing one now. He's saying to work with some sort of like vibrational machine, somehow a way to work with like machinery and vibration.
I work with horses, and there's actually some magnawave therapy that's vibrational.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
So he doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Allow yourself to hear yourself. Allow yourself to feel yourself. Allow yourself to talk to yourself. Allow yourself to respond to yourself. That's looking within.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I said, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here?
There's a reason why we're on this timeline. There's a reason why we've chosen to be in this awakening. I say we're going through a spiritual awakening.
So I don't just come on here and talk bull and repeat. I'm living this stuff.
In harmony with nature, in a mystical adventure, we're building on a culture.
Happy Thursday Night Live, everybody. How y'all been doing this heavy week? What y'all carrying? We're going to be talking about Leo season and what to expect. It's been a shift. Where y'all egos at? And then we have a guest. As some of you may know, actually, Chris Reck, Master Tarot Reader. We're going to be doing tag team readings and also doing our perspective on what Leo season would be like. So we'll get to that in a second. Let's see who's in the room. Chatty Cathy, Jennifer Cruz, my maker. Hello, welcome. Good to see you. Chelton Skeleton. Am I saying that right? Chelton Skeleton. We got Middle Pond Tarot here. What up? David Cruz, Erica, Emily, good to see you. A wonderful mod, Nina, is in the room. She'll be guiding you. Actually, I should probably put the overlays on now. And how to book a reading, actually, tag reading with Chris and I. Patricia Pritz, good to see you. Brenda Zweck, hello. El Zarink. Well, we love you. We both love you, too. Thank you for that. Rocky, good to see you. Christy, Rozzy, Rhonda, good to see you. Daryl, looking forward to tonight's episode. You'll be nice. Well, that's rare of you to be nice, Daryl. But I look forward to that nicety from you. Eric, good to see you. You had a vision from walking from the hot tub to the pool when reading the description. It wasn't pretty. Okay. I don't know what you guys are talking about. April Sparks is Chris Reck's wonderful mod. Say hi to her. Give her some love. She's wonderful. Cascading Catalyst, good to see you. I'm still scrolling down here. And those who are joining, Lisa Cruz, Lady Larson, we can go on. Noah Way, good to see you. AC, good to see you as well. Temmie Hall, Iggy, can't you see? It goes on, and I'm just going to, for time's sake, and Tommy Garassi, good to see you too. Everyone who's watching, hello. And those who are not chatting, of course, I can't see you. Welcome aboard. Let's get into this, actually. Let's get into the collective read. We're going to start with the collective read. And before I do, I actually want to share a short little message from Nina, because she loves to pull a card for you guys too. Let's see what.
What is up, Thursday crew? It is me, Nina. I'm excited to share this oracle pull that I did for y'all. The first card that popped up and what I heard Spirit say is you have good ideas. You have the ability to tap into the potential and the possibilities. Reach out to the potential that is calling for you. It feels like there's a potential, there's an energy, there are ideas, there are plans, there's things that are waiting to come into fruition. It's just time to fully embrace that. But Spirit was saying that you kind of need to tap into this great goddess energy. And it's perfect for Leo season too. This confident, great goddess energy that you have divinity through and with you. And this is the best way to tap into your potential and possibilities for this upcoming season.
And sometimes Chris teases me about me always tapping in too much into my goddess energy, and I'm sure he'll do more of that when we have him on here. So let me get some shuffling to the collective read here, and I just want to see for the week ahead. I'm no tarot master like Chris Reck. However, I do use tarot in conjunction to my reads, for additional information, but also for collective purposes, such to kind of guide me of what to talk about. And just like every other week, it always seems like my collective reads coincide with whatever topic it is. So let's see if there's that synchronicity tonight. And we have one that fell on the floor. Okay. I knew the 5 of Wands would be coming up. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, we're shuffling here. Okay, interesting. Now, this is for this week because, what you're going to be feeling, especially with Leo season, we're going to save a lot of Leo season for when Chris comes on. But I definitely want to say, especially this week and even kind of last week, you're going to hear a lot of conflicting ideas and perspectives. And you got to be very careful that you don't get entangled with those perspectives, almost like as if you're trying to blend and match everybody's perspective and voices, and therefore you're kind of sacrificing your own. It's time this week to be very careful about that because a lot of people are going to be stepping up with their egos. And a lot of times when people step up in their egos, it's not pretty. And so you want to make sure that you're not letting people either, diminish your ego or hurt your ego or bruise your ego. And if that's occurring, then you need to, be very aware that you have some sort of a fragile ego that needs to be nurtured. I know a lot of people say about killing the ego, like somehow this ego is a demon that we should avoid. But I always say when we nurture the ego and the ego has its place, then we don't necessarily have to be acting in ego. We can be acting in spirit. So right now, it's going to be a lot of tests around you when it comes to your personal relationships, those around you in work, any type of environment that you're in when it involves other people. You're definitely going to be feeling that opposition when it comes to conflicting ideas and a lot of judgments. And this is pretty timely because everything that's happening with the political divides right now, many people are, bashing each other because they don't see things the same way. And, if you could be, take the high road in this sense, and I don't mean high as that's doing mushrooms or marijuana. I mean the high spiritual road in sense of you're allowing yourself to understand someone else's perspective so you can remain neutral. I always say all the time, being objective is very important when you're being forced to look at situations that are very challenging when it involves other people, because the more objective you remain, the more you can understand where they're coming from and not take it personally. I've had a test this week too where I was taking something personal. When I take things personal, I come out almost like a Leo, ready to sting, ready to come out full force. I don't know if that's the Italian in me or if that's some sort of a hidden Aquarius trait that I don't know about, but all these triggers are actually identifying any type of subconscious unresolved or patterns you've been exhibiting in your life frequently. I've been seeing a lot of people, a lot of friends of mine have been getting injured. I had a couple friends that were in the hospital this week because they've been banging themselves around. They've been letting their ego kind of run the show, and of course, Spirit's going to slap back on that to try to get you to realize or at least recognize that it's time for you to shine without that anchor in your life, without all those anchors. So right now, this week, I would say this weekend primarily you're going to sense that more overtly, and please let it help you. You do not have to stand and fight up against everything. It's not your job to fight up against everything. It's not your job to solve everything with the 7 of Wands. You don't have to take a stand all the time. Sometimes you can say, you know what? I'm just going to surrender to the situation. I'm not going to be right in the situation. I'm not going to win here. Let's just go to a resolve so I can preserve my well-being. So simple, but how many people are actually doing that? We hear self-love all the time and setting boundaries all the time, but no one knows what the hell that really means because no one's really doing it, which is why we have to keep saying it. So when you look at this situation and you understand that, people are not usually, and here's one thing I recognize with people, not many people are coming from a state of malice. A lot of people have different ways that they're going about in their lives, and they have their own triggers, and you never know the story that's going on in their own life, why they react the way they do. And so when we remind ourselves that everyone has a story of why they're reacting a certain way, that a lot of times it's just miscommunication. I see a lot of issues happening with people just because of miscommunications, misunderstandings. And so if you're objective enough to understand this, then you'll keep yourself free of conflict. And you'll allow people then to see your perspective a lot clearer because you're being objective, you're being diplomatic, and you're being neutral. So then people would want to understand your perspective more without being defensive on their end. So communication is big this week, and making sure that you're not falling victim and prey to miscommunication. Okay, let me just pull a couple oracles too in conjunction, and we'll get into the Leo season because I feel like a lot of what I'm saying involves Leo season. And who in the chat, does anyone in the chat know what this superstition is about an itchy nose? Because I've been having an itchy nose for a while. Anyone in the chat know? Put in the chat if you guys understand the superstition of an itchy nose. Because I'm really, it's been itching. I know itchy palms is like wealth and stuff, or money or something like that, but Yeah, and guys, patience. And it's kind of interesting because I always tend to steer away from like cliches, but I'm going to go with them tonight. Why not? Because, Nina's message is all about tapping into the goddess energy. So even men, we can find the God-like energy within us that's very nurturing, very, self-supportive. And so it does require patience at this time, very simple, and beauty, right? Because there's beauty and patience. There's a lot of beauty and patience. And if you look at people who are very beautiful in your life, they're very nurturing. They don't have to rush anything. They don't have to force anything, right? And so you can see the beauty and the patience. And of course, this is all about new beginnings in that sense. That's where you start sensing new beginnings, right? And so it's very, very clear in a sense of the message is simple, and sometimes we need a simple message to cheerlead us on in life. But I think that if these messages weren't repetitive within our communities, then that means would have mastered them by now. So clearly, we have not mastered them. So we need to be continuously reminded, which is okay because we all need reminders. And so if you conquer this objectivity this week, then you'll find a lot more connections in your life. And you'll find that you're getting the attention that you need from your relationships that might not be giving you the attention, as well as relationships that might have been not showing up for you, start showing up for you. So that's kind of the rewards of doing such. So I'm going to stop it there because I want to kind of get into Leo season to kind of blend in with this message. So let's get Chris Reck on, shall we? Give me a moment. And let me get my headphones too. Oh, and I forgot to tell you guys, by the way, before I do, if you guys want to have a question answered by us, it's $30 for one question, $40 for two questions, and $50 for a live video with Chris and I. We'll both tag team and read for you. And the Venmo and PayPal links are in the bio or description below, the description below. And then we'll go, of course, one-on-one. Give me a moment as I set things up here because I don't have a team of people doing it for me over here. I got to do it myself. And of course, it requires a New York accent to describe that. One moment. I have these, they're for like a band, but they're hard to get in, so bear with me. All right. Let's add Chris to the mix here. Chris, what's going on, man?
Hey, how are you? I have my headphones on already. My team put them on.
Your team put you on?
Yeah, I'm all set. Yeah.
You have a team. I need a team. Do they give you massages, foot massages and stuff too, or?
Yeah, pretty much. They take care of everything. Yeah.
Awesome. So, for those of you that don't on my channel that may not know who you are, which I would think they probably do, just tell everybody who you are and how did you get into tarot? Where did your journey begin when it comes to tarot?
Yeah, I'm Chris from Middle Pond Tarot. My journey started a long time ago. My earliest astrology memory is my grandma. She actually told me I was an Aquarius. Thank God I'm not actually an Aquarius, right? But she told me
thank God.
I'm a Pisces. And so that was like my earliest memory. I was probably like 4 or 5 when she told me that. And
oh, wow.
Then, and then I got a tarot deck randomly when I've always been into weird stuff. Even when I was a kid, I watched this show by Arthur C. Clarke. That was like my obsession when I was a kid, was all this like, mystery stuff. So then I got this like random tarot deck, and then I started messing around with it probably when I was like 13, somewhere around there. But I never really took it seriously until I got a little bit older.
So when did you kind of realize, because I know most tarot readers I know have psychic ability anyways too, so were you able to utilize tarot to find some sort of psychic ability within you, or how did you maybe come to terms with that aspect?
It was really like a bunch of different things. Like I've had a lot of weird experiences. One time I heard my dad talking to me in my head, and so I was like, "What?" Like I thought he was calling me, and he's like, "I'm not calling you, but I was thinking about calling you." So
wow.
Yeah, so that was pretty weird. Things like that happened to me a lot. My mom said when I was a kid that I don't know if this is true or not, but she said I gave her the lottery numbers. When I was like in the car seat, and she didn't play them, and it was like the winning lottery numbers.
What?
When I was little, yeah. So I've had like a lot of weird experiences, and then I fell on my head when I was 10, and then after I fell on my head, that was it.
You fell on your head after, so you didn't begin by falling on your head. You fell on your head after the fact. Interesting. Did anything change after you fell on your head?
Yeah, I started failing school after that.
Really? So it went down.
Yeah. So weird.
Interesting.
I don't know if that turned something on up here or what, but yeah.
I always say in life, when people like have some sort of head injury, their life does change somehow. It's like a spiritual way of like knocking you upside the head. So I think there is some significance of that, those experiences in a sense. So so what are you doing now? Like, do you have any projects you want to share with people, and anything new that you're working on right now that's we should know about?
right now I'm working on Dent Makers, which is my new startup, and so
Nice.
Dent Makers is going to be like a, it started and it's what it's meant to be is kind of like a Netflix for personal development. So
cool.
we're having experts, we're having experts come in and teach like different classes. We actually have our first one with an expert done right now, but there's actually 2 parts. So there's that, and then there's also a private group that I work with that goes along with it.
Oh, nice. Not like OnlyFans though, right?
You will not see my feet. No feet pics on Dent Makers.
Good, fantastic. So how do people find that?
They can go to dentmakersutl.com, and actually there's a bunch of free stuff on Dent Makers UTL, so if you just want to get a flavor, a taste of what is involved in Dent Makers, definitely check that out.
Awesome. Sounds great, man. I definitely want to look into that too. And you're really good at kind of even helping people understand how to get their businesses going online, right? And so you're pretty much well versed in that. Do you offer courses with that too? Or is that kind of part of Dent Makers?
Yeah, right now, what I'm doing is if you join now, you get lifetime access to everything. So the private group is more geared towards getting your an online business going and things like that.
Nice.
And then, the way I look at Dent Makers itself is it's going to be all these like little mini courses. But we came up with we're going to offer like recipes for success, because I've taken a lot of courses. I come from the marketing world, and I've noticed like a lot of courses, they just give you a bunch of stuff and a bunch of information that's all fluff, and but they don't actually take care of other things as well that you need to be successful. So it's like all the courses are going to be like health, wealth, happiness, and there's going to be multiple things that you have to do so that you have everything all together.
Because it's not just about analytics too. It's really how you process and format the content. Because a lot of people they have this crappy content, but then I'm doing all the analytics and nothing's happening to my page. It's like, well, the content isn't really geared toward bringing people in too. So I'm sure you give every different aspect of that too, right?
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that, because the other thing I talk about all the time, like part of Dent Makers is also like what should you be doing in your off time as well. Like if I don't go for a walk every single day, my life suffers, right? Like my walking time is my meditation time. It's like where I get my best ideas and all that other stuff. So I want to include, that's like the missing information I'm talking about. No one told me years ago. I started my first business when I was 16, and I've pretty much worked myself to the bone ever since. But no one told me you have to also take time to go for a walk. As silly as it sounds, people don't do it.
Right. Well, taking that break, because for me, it's like my time is cleaning time. Like when I'm cleaning, I'm thinking, processing. It's that's the Virgo in me, the Virgo rising. Yeah. But I definitely agree with that, because a lot of people tend to be go, 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 and they don't give their brain enough time to sit and to recalibrate and to at least give spirit time to give them information, inspiration. So I think it's very important. So you guys should check that out, because, Chris was actually speaking at Unite the Light more so about, the online aspects. And I was definitely learning a lot, still learning a lot. I'm Aquarius. We rebel against social media, so I'm trying. But I think it's, he's very, very, I would say, knowledgeable, and not just a tarot master, I would say a social media wizard too, I would say. Great. So let's get to the reads here, shall we? Shall we just jump on in, right? Okay. So first one is from Rashida. And she says she wants to do a video reading. So let me just do this, because I have to send her a link. So anybody who requests a video reading, I'm going to give you a link to come on. And so you would click that link. It would be in response to your Venmo payment. So this is what happens when you have to do it all yourself. You have to kind of take breaks. And so just check out your Venmo if you're wanting a video reading, and you'll get the link. So just give me a second so I can send that in. I wish, I really wish Venmo was a lot easier too, to be able to do things like that instead of having to go to different screens. So Rashida, check the comments in Venmo, and then we'll have you on. Let's go to one that doesn't require a video right now, so you can move on. Daryl Blankenship. Scott, I'm moving to the desert soon. I have an opportunity to sell or lease my condo here. Does Spirit have any advice as to which option is best? And lottery numbers, please. So we're not doing lottery numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to answer the question, and of course Daryl will chime in, or excuse me, Chris will chime in with his tarot, his card pulls. So let me see, what's a better opportunity? Should you sell or lease your condo there? Let's see what's the best opportunity for you in here. What my guides are telling me on this Daryl, is they say that you don't want to get rid of that place just yet. They're saying you kind of want to hold on to that for a little bit of time and possibly lease it out, maybe even 6 months, to a year time. And then possibly after that, you might want to maybe look to sell that. But they're saying right now is not the time to completely abandon that as you come here, but lease it out. Or even Airbnb it. I don't know if you could do it in that location there, but that's kind of what I'm sensing about. Don't completely abandon it, but at some time in the future, you're going to want to step away from it. It's just not now yet. But move here first. What do you get on that, Chris?
Yeah, same. Sell was 10 of swords, which is a no for me, and then lease was a 6 of wands. So
wow.
And you said 6 months too. So
wow.
Again, I think 6 of wands is a really good card, and definitely a victory as well. I love the idea of like Airbnb in it or something as well.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You see that, Daryl? You got tag teamed on that one.
Yep.
So,
he would like that.
Yeah, I'm sure. I just sure Daryl would like that, right? So we have to go get on his side with the comments now because he's always giving me crap for that. Let's go add Rashida to the mix. Rashida,
hi.
Can you hear us?
Oh yeah, for sure.
What's up, gorgeous? So, what's your question for Master Tarot and Master Psychic here? Both go by Chris.
So Chris squared.
Yes.
My question is okay. So I have 2. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Yeah. Go for it.
Okay.
People are still slow and giving their reads in, which they must be intimidated tonight. I don't know. Usually they're flowing on in. But yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take your time.
So basically, I would like to know if I'm going in the right direction regarding my side venture or ventures, whatever. I love what I do as far as nursing, but I'm definitely more of a creative, and so I have a passion for astrology as well. So I just want to know if I am not only going in the right direction, but also am I spreading myself out a little bit too far?
Yeah, well, I was just about to say that. so you kind of answered the question. I do think you are, but it's okay. So these 2 endeavors I feel like you mentioned, I feel somehow we need to like unify, right? And instead of having 2 different, like unifying into like one additional and turn it into like one aspect. This way you're not spreading yourself too thin when it comes to your actual job, right? So the side endeavor, yes, I think that it's been pulling you for quite some time actually to go and do that creative aspect and endeavors and to work on that. And so finding a way using the visual creativity as one unified. Right. I think for some reason, whatever these 2 endeavors are, I think one is throwing the other endeavor off and so forth. So it's keeping it more stagnant. Try to find a way to unify it, right? Or make it into one endeavor in a sense, because I think that's where you might be spreading yourself too thin in that regard.
Okay.
And so do you understand what I mean by unifying it in a sense?
I do. Now, it would be really hard to do so. And then this is what I mean. So basically, one is regarding nursing, the other is regarding astrology.
Mm-hmm.
But it's 2 very specific things.
Sure.
And so and I have been enjoying the process of creating for both of them.
Can I hop in? Can I hop in? Because I know they're dichotomies, right? But if you understand what nursing really is and astrology is, you can somehow find a way to do something very creative and unique to combine the 2. To take as far as caretaking, helping people in a sense, and actually allowing yourself to utilize astrology in a different way to do so. That's what we're saying about unifying. That's thinking outside the box, my love, right? Because if you focus on reading and doing astrology, you can understand what it means to be a part and have that language. But there's a lot of astrologers out there. What's a way that you can utilize astrology to make it different, like unifying the 2 passions of caretaking and reading? You know what I'm saying? That's what you're saying about unifying. That means you have to brainstorm and find a shtick.
So just really quickly for clarification, though, it's not so much about how do I merge the 2 worlds of astrology, or how do I merge astrology into nursing. I know, like, it's a part of me, so it's going to be in everything that I do.
Absolutely.
But it's more about what I'm creating. It's more about that. So like these,
Yeah.
You know, my journals, my merchandise.
Sure.
You know, I have some that are literally specific to school nursing too.
Well, but
And
yeah. So merchandise is a great thing to have, additionally to the service that you provide. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So
Well, this is
yeah,
outside of the service that I provide with as far as nursing, as far as school nursing.
I understand that.
Separate. Yeah,
But what I'm saying, I'm thinking bigger picture, right? And I'm thinking about how you can turn in these two passions, because right now you're in a stage where it's fragmented, right? You're at a position where it's a little split. We're saying to think ahead in terms of unifying, saying, no, I'm good at caretaking. That's part of my nature. How can I turn my astrology, interest into what I'm doing with caretaking, and all the artwork that you create is somewhat you sell with the work that you do, like an online store in a sense, merchandise. Yeah. You created this umbrella to include it all in. The problem is that you're fragmenting it. That's the problem. You don't have to fragment it. Like, for example, I'm a musician. I can include my music in the work that I do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't have to be separated. You know what I'm saying? And being a psychic medium, all this other stuff, I can include in all my other aspects into one unified thing. It doesn't have to be separate. And so if you're thinking in the future about having some sort of a practice or a business or, whatever you're providing for people, it has all these different elements too. There's nothing wrong with that. You're unifying that. There's one umbrella to that. And so especially if people love you for what you're doing, they're going to want to say, hey, I want to pick up on this journal. I'm going to pick up on this writing. I want to pick up on this art piece. That's awesome. I'll buy it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and I use my music. I've utilized my music to create, frequency meditations for people that can purchase. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm still working with that, including into the umbrella of what I do. So that's what I'm saying about creating like a niche, creating some sort of a branding in a sense, to be creative, to start your own practice, to where you're living both worlds in a sense, unified. And I want to get Chris's input on this too, and see what the cards are saying for Chris.
Yeah, I mean, this is giving me major, like, Gemini vibes right here, but we have the Three of Cups and Three of Pentacles, which is, like, teamwork, working together with other people. I really like this, and you also have the Justice card as well coming up here. And Justice to me, but also these 2 threes, is like cause and effect. It's, Justice says double down on the stuff that's working, and, make sure that you're also paying attention to the, the different aspects that work, and double down on those things. But this would also be teamwork. People like you like to want to do everything, right? So, this is kind of like getting the support from people to support you doing everything. Like, like me, I do a lot of different stuff. Like, tarot isn't the only thing I do. I have another business. I have a secret business that no one knows about, right? And all this other stuff. But I have over time built up a team of, people that can help support me. There's no way I would be able to do it if I didn't. So I kind of like feel like this is you getting mostly support. Three of Pentacles is amazing for displaying your work, showing your work, getting people to see your work, all that other stuff. So this looks really, really good to me, for sure.
So unify, find an umbrella term to do it all without spreading yourself thin. Do you agree with that, Chris? What do you feel about that aspect?
Yeah, especially with like the Three of Pentacles, because it is like doing, he's done a lot. He also went above and beyond. Like this little triangle right here kind of says that it's a water triangle. So he injected his dream into the vision. It's more than just the Three Pentacles that he has done. And so, yeah, totally. I think there's a way to mix all this together right there.
Okay.
So now here's the thing. You're going to be very Virgo Leo about this and be like, I don't know. Like, what does that mean? I'm overthinking everything. It's like, take it step by step, my love. Okay. And say, okay, if I were to combine this and create some sort of, taking what I've gone to school for and what I'm passionate about and merge it, what would that look like? Give yourself time to marinate on that. Because the problem is what you're doing now, it's so separated. Not everything's getting the love that you really want to put into it, So you're keeping yourself fragmented and like, well, I need to have time for this, but I have to have time for this. And it shouldn't be this or that. It should be this and that. And if you just allow yourself to think that for a little bit, it's going to click for you.
Right.
It's going to click for you. Right. I promise you. I don't make promises either, but it's going to click for you for sure.
Okay.
You're getting in your head too much. but also...
I'm selling them in the same place. They're being sold in literally on the, I haven't separated sites or anything like that.
That's okay.
They're
good.
All in the same, like, Amazon
Perfect.
author page. It's just... I just thought maybe, just maybe, I did need to, do some separation.
But I mean, it really depends on your mission and what you're able to handle. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, for example, say if you create a website and you do this, like, you're a caretaker, but then you also help people read themselves, understand where they're at in their life, and you start going off into more of a spiritual approach, and then you also want to link your artwork and stuff and sell. That's what I'm saying to you. You're thinking about just being a specific nurse. That might be your calling now, but you might evolve into saying, I'm actually somewhat being like kind of a reader but a healer at the same time, using my nursing experience. That's what I'm telling you. Like expanding that into something greater that's more spiritual, but also using your need of how to caretake and be a nurse and having that under your belt. You know what I'm saying? So I always say things that we have in our lives are kind of like preparing us for what we want to do in the future. You learning about being a nurse and caretaking is preparing you to do more what you want to do with your art and creativity and your healing and so forth. That's going to definitely evolve. You think your life here as a spiritual being is just to stay stuck being a nurse? No. Absolutely not. Definitely. But when you look in the future and you see this kind of this overarching essence of what you're doing, you'll understand, okay, the nursing was to get me to be a caretaker and empath and understand how to work with people and heal people as I'm also doing other things for them through my art and my astrology and my reads. You know what I mean? So remember, it's a process of getting there, and like you're in that process, but just don't make sure you're not getting too much in your way of trying to fragment too much in the mind. That you might keep it separate now as things are growing, but at some point it will come to that unification for sure. I can put money on that. Anything else, my love, that you want us to maybe just tune into before we move on?
You know, I should have written it down. I did have something, but it's okay. I did want to spend just a little bit of time, just offering gratitude. I am very appreciative of everything that you have, everything that you've given.
Who, me?
Yes, you.
Oh, you're sweet. You're kind.
And you know, and I'm going to toss some also to Chris as well.
Oh, thank you.
Seriously, like I've been. The funny thing is, I was watching Chris before you. I was watching with Techie before both of you.
Oh wow!
But so it's just really interesting how this all kind of how you guys just all kind of came together.
Yeah.
But anyway, you have been giving so much goodness.
Oh, I appreciate you.
And you know, you're a whole ass human being, right? You know,
Right.
Chris, you're a whole ass human being too. And I think that sometimes people can expect, or you know, they have expectations of individuals who might put themselves out there like how you do,
Right.
and then lose sight of what is actually given to the world.
Whew. You're making me tear up now. Wow. I mean, I needed to hear that.
I wish I had written down. I could write down a whole list of the things that you've said that have actually come to be. There's just so much, and even and honestly, Chris as well. The last couple of Leo readings that I've seen, and Virgo rising.
Yes.
spot on, like so spot on. Resonates so much, and so I just. Like I said, I want to express that appreciation, that gratitude, and I just really want to see you guys continue to grow and just receive everything.
And we want you to be a part of it. And we want you to be a part of that too. We want you to also do the same that we're doing for other people. You to do the same thing to where you feel this, you get the same appreciation as I know you are now. You know, and I think a lot of us, both of us, you know, see that. I see a lot of the light worker energy in a lot of people. A lot of light workers come to me too, and I'm so humbled by it. But you know, I see that in you too, and so I think a lot of times Spirit is forced me to get clients to think outside the box, and I think that's the whole point that we're doing as a spiritual community is thinking outside the box. And so I'm so humbled by that. Thank you. It got me teary-eyed. I needed to hear that, so I got you, babe. I appreciate that so much. And we love you so much, and I think you're a beautiful person. And I really appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. I thank you so much. I love you guys. Just continued expansion, positive, huge, out there expansion. You know.
Yes. Thank you.
Yep.
Absolutely, my love. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Keep
you.
me posted.
You too.
And if you have any questions, you know how to find me too. If what I'm saying to you, like, hey Scott, would it be this? I'm always available. You know, just to shoot a little message to you. You know that. I'm accessible. Yeah. I'm in your back pocket, I say.
For sure, Scott Michael.
Yes. Thank you, my queen. All right. Have a good night. Thank you, guys.
Thanks. You too.
Bye, Rashida. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye.
You see, this is that's what it's about, right? I mean, connecting with people like that, and I think that, I think many people misunderstand too spirituality. It's not just about helping people; it's about connecting with people too. Like we have to also be a part of a family, right, Chris? And that's why I'm glad I met you and Christopher. And there's just been like great connection with all of us that it feels divine. And I think we get a lot of times us light workers get so wrapped up, and I want to help and change the world. We forget we need support too. We need people to love us, and we need to be vulnerable to let that in too. So I think it was a great message from Rashida. That was awesome. All right, we have another favorite, Sydney Aaron. She says, "Love y'all. What's my vibe for Leo season? Thank you." Let's see. I'll get my generalization on this. Sydney is a Leo, I think. If I'm not reading correctly, Sydney, if you can put in the chat, I'm reading Leo, I think. So just confirm me. Let me see. All right, Mama's going to be vocal this season, Sydney. Oh, we didn't even talk about Leo season either, Chris.
I know, we totally haven't talked about it. I thought we were just going to do it at the end. I was like, all right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we'll do it. That's perfect. We'll do it at the end. Yeah. I think a good way to close it anyways. So she's a Leo Aqua Rising. I knew I smelt that Leo in there. Okay. I really feel like, here's the thing with you, Sydney. You've had, similar to me, you've had a repressed voice for a while. So I really feel like this Leo season, you're going to really start expressing your voice unapologetically. And I think that you've been, silencing yourself so much through circumstances to please others, as a lot of people do. But I think in this season, you're going to really find yourself kind of being unapologetic about this. And even not, the important thing for me in this situation is you detaching from, people's, I would say, responses and that. And I think that sometimes you've been pussyfooting around this. So I really feel like that's going to be this Leo season for you is in that regard. I feel more travel too. So I don't know if you'll be taking more travel, taking more trips, possibly a relocation in a sense. Maybe you'll start talking about relocating or moving. So I think that's also in the works too. Either, not that you'll move this season, but you might start talking about it or it becomes a reality to where you'll move. So I feel that this season as well. And I just quite frankly just see you owning your shit. I just see you can own it this season. So I have to say you've been through a lot of reservation. You've been through a lot of, I would say, isolation that they're saying, to be parallel with the Leo in you in Leo season. I think you'll be getting the well-deserved, I don't want to say attention, that sounds shallow, but you'll be getting the well-deserved recognition for the things that you've been doing. Okay. Oh, look at that. Sydney says she was talking about moving today. Oh, there you go. So if anything, we're not on par. Like Hawaii, or interesting. Well, let that marinate. Chris, what are you picking up?
Yeah, I love this for you. You start with the Magician. You have the I don't know why we're not focusing tonight, but you have the Magician.
You can see it.
The King of Pentacles and the Eight of Swords. So, this would be about manifesting a very solid new beginning. And, both of these cards are cards of your skills and using your skills. Magician has mastery over all the suits. King of Pentacles, he has these grapes on his cloak, and it's like, it represents something that's very hard to do for most people, but something that you're actually good at. I was going to talk about this tonight, actually, talking about Leo season. I don't want to ruin too much, but I think we're all kind of coughing up this like spiritual loogie because we've been in this Taurus energy, and Taurus is your neck, your throat, right? And so people think Leo, they think of the heart, but Leo also rules the spine as well. And so I think we all need to slap ourselves on the back and spit something up here. And so I feel like there's like a new beginning that you're hoping to spit up with these two cards. You just have the Eight of Swords. Every Leo that I read for gets the Eight of Swords. Whatever. Eight of Swords is only seeing one way of doing things, and Eight of Swords is just like she needs to realize that she's not stuck and she is very free. I think Leo is just letting their old everything up until this point in your life die, and then you're like starting fresh, and that's how I see this reading for you.
That's awesome. And I love the loogie thing because it's like what I was saying before about using her voice, right? She's been silencing her voice and getting it out. So I love that. So Sydney, party time. let me get a ticket for Hawaii and come visit when you move, because that'd be fun. That's awesome. That was great, Chris. Thank you.
Thanks.
Let's go into, we have Christy Larson. She says, am I taking the right direction with accepting a STEM teaching position, or should I stay in the corporate sales role? Lady Larson. Okay. I already know this already. I mean, hello. My initial, right off the bat, let me format this in a way that's more poetic, I would say, instead of saying, do this. I really feel like your corporate sales role, you're good at it. And I think you can put yourself to task. I really feel like you're beating yourself up because you don't want to be there. And I'm feeling like you're not really making a change for something you believe in, and that you're supporting someone else's, role or someone else's dream versus your own dream. So I feel like by working with the STEM teaching position is more in alignment with something you feel like you're going to make a difference in. I keep hearing that your goal is to make a difference in life, and when you don't, you shortchange yourself. And I have to say, I don't want to say the things that you have been doing, you haven't been making a difference. I think you're very influential with your energy, and people look up to that. But it's time for you to start doing it in the way that you want to do it. And I feel like doing the STEM teaching position is the way you want to be doing that. And I feel like you'll be feeling a lot more freer doing that position and letting go of the corporate sales role. Because you did it for a while. I think you've done it for a while, but I also feel like you're just at a position, you're just bored with it and done with it. What I think you're hanging on to is the fact of the money and all the traditional stuff we think about when it comes to corporate work. But I think that your happiness will find more inspiration in the teaching position. You'll find ways of branching off little ideas that'll make you more money in the long run. So I think you should definitely look into the STEM positioning. I feel spirit pushing in that direction. So yeah, Chris, what do you get on that? With the card say?
I mean, I think that it's pretty interesting. You start with the moon. The moon is not really being sure where you're going, and the moon is a journey. The moon is not you're going to end up in this STEM position and that's what you're going to do. I feel like there's probably something beyond where that is even, and that you probably don't see yet because you have the Knight of Pentacles, and the Knight of Pentacles has these empty fields. So, like Scott said, there's probably more abundance that you don't realize yet. And I have my own crazy theories about the next 10 years, and I think a lot of people are going to realize that they can make a lot of money even being like a worm farmer, right? That's the joke I always make on my channel. So even if you want to farm worms, there's probably a way where you can make $1 million doing it. And the Knight of Pentacles just has to get started. He just has to start planting seeds in that field. But I see this, I feel like there's something beyond that I can't quite see with the moon card. There's probably more to what she's going to be doing in the future, but that doesn't mean you can't do that right now, the teaching.
Right. And I feel like sometimes, like I was saying before, there's a little step that we get drawn to, and it branches off into so many other things. So I love that you said that, because, sometimes it's just a pull to get out of something that's more rational, right? Just to get us in a different path, and then it evolves. So I totally agree with that. I had something else I was going to say about that, but I just forgot.
And it's if you free up that brain space, that free brain space might be worth more than the money,
Right.
So,
right.
That's
exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying before, because, I think that you have more time and more inspiration, you know what I mean? Because we do stuff what we want. It clogs so much of this, I hate this energy we have back there. Then we put this I'm bored energy back there that I'm trying. So much congestion. So yeah, lady, Christy Larson. I get, what is Lady Larson in the chat? Okay. I definitely feel like you'll find your way with that, but they're definitely saying to push you into that direction you feel most resonant with, and it will definitely evolve, like Chris Amber was saying before. I had something else I forgot, but if it comes back, I'll come back to it. I hate when that happens.
Cool. Yeah.
Shakita Jordan just sent $10, but I don't know what that means. Oh, just a quick, okay. Shakita Jordan, just a quick response. What can you tell me about my father of my son? I only have $10, hoping for a sheep breed, no money to. Oh, that's okay. Don't worry about that. Okay, but this is a regular of mine. What can you tell me about the father of my son? Okay, let me see. Quick, simple response. We can go to depth, cascading or sashika, whatever one we go to. We can go. You've been such a great, loyal supporter of mine. I don't mind going above a little bit for you. With the father of your son. I'm trying to see I want to look at which context, as a father or just with you, right? And I guess I'll look at both aspects too to get a bigger picture. God. Here's the thing I heard. They're saying that he's trying to be either cordial with you or with the son, but he's not living up to the expectation. So I think that they're asking you to not take shit. I'll just be kind of street with that for a moment. Let's get hood. Don't take shit. But also, you know, to be a little more understanding and patient with the fact that there is a little bit of effort on his end. And so that patience could eliminate some frustration with you in regards to communication. And I know you have been patient, but it's just being consistent in that momentum. I don't feel any type of negative intentions with them. I just feel like he's shortchanging his son. He's shortchanging you. And so, but I do feel like there's a little bit of effort that's been coming about as of late. And maybe he's making a realization at some point that he should be changing certain things about how he's approaching things. So I'm sensing there might be some sort of a realization with him to make things better in his communication or how he's showing up. So there's a positive on that, but it still requires your patience on this. You know, but I keep feeling like you're saying he might be a threat to something. I'm not necessarily picking up on that. The only threat that I might be feeling he might be is to you if you're allowing it to oversaturate you in your emotions and perspective. Because then that could be a threat indirectly. You know, if that makes sense. And I always say if that makes sense. She types that makes sense. So we talk about being in sync, right? So Chris, what do you pick up on that with the cards?
Yeah, I feel like he's a little bit stuck in life, and right. he's not expanding past a certain point. He has the Two of Wands here, and so Two of Wands is like being stuck in the tiny little world in front of you, not the whole world that is in your hands. So I feel he's a little stuck. We have the Fool, could be a little foolish, right? But I feel like there are things that are nagging at him emotionally that maybe you don't even know about. But I think that there are things that are kind of like nagging at him with the Fool energy. The Fool has this tiny little dog biting at his heels. So it's like he's got these things that are kind of like coming after him. I see this in my head, that there are like things, you know, going on here. It's funny Scott said communication too, because I almost just threw it, but we have the Eight of Wands as well, which is communication. And I do feel like if you're like hoping for better communication or something, it's almost like you're coming from a place of understanding, or coming from a place of understanding will improve the communication with the Eight of Wands. I feel like he's very stuck. He might be cold or a little bit of a colder personality with the Fool. I get this like kind of like a cold feeling from this reading here. So he might be, give off a cold, harder energy. But actually, I think if you came from a place of understanding, that would improve the communication.
Wow. I mean, talk about in sync, huh, Chris? Huh?
Yeah, the cards prove it.
Yeah, we're hitting out of the park on this one. All right, not to pat ourselves on the back to get that whatever that would you say the loogie out.
The loogie, gotta get the loogie
out. Right? Yeah. Isaac Madrino, I sent you a link for the video, so click on that when you're ready. I sent it in the Venmo. Oh, we have our mod, Nina. Nina, you did not have to pay. Nina, our wonderful mod, my mod, she actually paid. She didn't have to pay for a question, Nina. You could have just asked it for us. I'm going to send you the money back. She says, thank you both for the love in advance. What do you all pick up for this Leo season for me? Thank you. Okay. Let's see, Miss Nina. I hate to be cliche too, Chris, about like, oh, you're going to get attention, but a lot of people are be getting attention to Leo season, right? So let's just show a little bit of a cascade. That's so sweet. Thank you, cascading, for that. For that love. We love you both too. Thank you so much, Nina. I really feel this season, and I know you because because I know you. I was gonna say because I mentor you, but that sounded kind of douchey. But I know you and I love you so much, and I know this to be true, and that's why I want Chris to confirm this too, because he doesn't know you. But I really feel like you're gonna get a lot of recognition the next few months. Fuck the Leo season for you, but for the next couple months, I feel like you're on an incline of recognition, especially for your work that you're doing. I really think that what Chris was saying about the loogie out, and I know you've been having issues with swallowing and stuff like that, I think you're going to finally push it out once and for all this season and really realize that, I'm not clenching up any longer to speak my mind. I'm actually and people are appreciating me now. So I really feel that you're going to really release that this season and find a lot of more recognition and a lot of success in work. I think your work is really going to start paying off for you too, and I feel you and your love will also find ways to work together in the future too. So you're definitely on an incline in that regard. But specific for the season, it's really about the recognition of work and allowing yourself to actually hawk up that loogie once and for all and never going back. So, Chris, what do you see? I love Nina's like, what?
Yeah.
We know each other? Right?
I like this for you. If you have love, by the way, you have the Knight of Cups. So Knight of Cups is great, but this is like a dream. You know, he's standing in the desert. He thinks that there is no way that anything will grow in front of him, but he has the water right here. So if he plants seeds, they will grow. And, you know, like Scott said, I think attention with the King of Wands. King of Wands are like really being bold, like really, really going for something, being entrepreneurial. It says that both of these cards really say that you have great foresight. And both cards really say that, you know, whatever you're thinking about doing, you get started, plant those seeds, they will grow. There is nothing more for you to learn. So you have been hanging from the tree of knowledge and wisdom. It's like it's time to get off the pole, as I always say with the Hangman. And it's time to get to work with the Hangman. You have gained enough knowledge and wisdom. So I really feel it's time for you to kind of like take a risk. And you know what? You cannot make this up. Literally, the top card I want to see what was Five of Swords is taking a risk. So I think it's time for you to take a risk on something. And you know, you've gained, like I said, there's nothing more for you to learn. I'm going to leave it at that.
You hear that? And I love that you said that, Chris, because and look, when you said love, the Lover's card was sitting on mine too, once you got the love too. There's nothing for you to learn. You might be over encumbered, like, I got to do more of this, I got to do more of that. It's like, nah, just being right now and embracing what you have learned and what you're learning now. And so I agree with that. I love that so much. So that's awesome. I love you, Nina. You know I love you with all my heart. I just want to say that. I want everyone to know how much I love my Nina. She's just an amazing, amazing soul, and she's so talented and skilled too. So, and the Two of Cups I shuffled too, Nina, just came on my deck. I didn't want to intrude on Chris's tarot, but it's just representing you and Lafayette and your partnership. So, we have Mr. Isaac here backstage. Just add him in.
Yes.
Brother.
What up?
Isaac, what's up?
He's all hood tonight. What up?
Yeah, welcome to Leo.
What's up? Yeah. Oh, you're excited. That's right. You are Mr. Leo, right?
Yes. I'm a few days from my step birthday and calendar birthday, so.
All right.
Why not take
advantage
of this deal offering here?
You're feeling it, huh? So what's your question for us?
Oh, it's a status check. Like I came off like 3 or 4 months ago. And I was just kind of like, all right, I've been putting in some work. I dug in. There's a little more questions, but then there's kind of like a reason why, like a more of a heartfelt reason to approach one avenue of income as I seek to unify what I want to build for later on.
Sure.
So that's like the one part, and the other is just checking in on like the spiritual part of myself.
Yeah, let me hop in. Because I sometimes I like don't feed the psychic, but I don't want to shut you up either. But at the same time, like don't feed the psychic. Let me hop in, right? So, let me see, because there's a lot I was picking up on you as well. Okay, give me a couple seconds. I have to actually sort this out too. I do feel a little reckless energy the past few weeks, maybe a month. There's been some reckless energy a little bit, right? And that reckless energy can be very scattered and chaotic. I feel like you're coming out of this, right? And so usually when I say the chaotic, scattered energy, it's like a fragmentation. Not trusting. And so your guides are like, sometimes by not trusting, you learn more trust. And sometimes by being fragmented, you learn more about the bigger picture. And so they're saying something that you've been, thinking that you've been getting miscommunication from your guides, your spirit, and they're saying no. Sometimes spirit's going to slap you upside the head, okay? Or sometimes spirit's going to put the mute button on. That's okay. Sometimes spirit wants us to think for ourselves. And I'm saying this because they're trying to really work on your intuition and your perception of how you're receiving message from spirit. And so these have just been kind of micro tests to get you to understand the processing of being receptive, but also connecting that with your external world. This way, when you understand in your external world, shit's going to happen. And all because shit's happening doesn't mean you've done something wrong. Or if something's on pause, it doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. So this chaotic energy, this scattered energy, they're saying that you were thinking the past month is more so you condemning yourself, thinking you're not doing the right thing. And they're saying you're on the right roller coaster. And that's good. And so you need the roller coaster experience, right? I don't know why they keep showing me something with a car, or there might be a car issue that you might just have to like do something, get your car fixed, or maybe you'll be getting a new car. They're just showing some sort of change with the car too at some point. So maybe that's the next chapter ahead, and you'll realize, okay, if I'm getting a new car, that's symbolizing I'm starting a new journey and a new pace. Because I always say sometimes the physical things in our lives are a representation of things that we're changing in our lives. So in this case, you might be getting a new vehicle or change to a vehicle to where you're actually realizing I'm going at a different pace now. I might be cruising differently in my life, in my world. And so I want to say, whether that's literal or symbolic, I really feel like you're actually going in that direction. As far as income and money, I'm not going to necessarily predict, and I don't want to be too long-winded, but I feel like it's necessary. I don't feel that you have issues with lack. I don't want to sound too like manifestation community, let's get out of lack mindset because you're not manifesting, right? But you have, from the paternal side of your family, there is what some of the deep spiritual people might say, a financial curse on the paternal side. Now I'm going to fluff that, down a little bit. There's something within the paternal reasoning that says that money is not to be obtained, that you need to finally purge from your perspective and your subconscious. And it's there still, you're struggling with it, but it's coming from the paternal side of your family. And when you allow yourself to purge the idea that you have to struggle for what is paper or just struggle for taking care of yourself, because money represents taking care of the self and building value, when you understand you're not struggling to take care of you, and you're not struggling to hear you, money wouldn't be the focus of attention of trying to conquer or trying to achieve in your life. So you're saying there's a little bit of a crosswire there that you want to kind of, heal in that sense. And that comes from your dad's side beyond. Okay, some might say you got a money curse. I'm just saying there's a belief that's been carried down through your generational paternal side that's lingering. And once you identify this and you understand your struggle is a choice, it's a perception, or it's a lack of seeing things from a broader point of view, and you're going to bat to be in this now Leo season, the main character of your story, and you're actually rooting for yourself and taking the attention, the lead, you'll start finding that money and opportunities of money will be coming to you very much at your disposal. Okay, so that's what they're saying on the subconscious level and the spiritual level. They're saying you're evolving and growing into. And so I think in this Leo season, you're going to start seeing this. I think you're going to start seeing, Spirit putting things in your path deliberately to get you to realize, okay, this is just in reach. To allow you to understand this process forward is working in your favor. There is a wheel turning. Okay, but they need you to understand process and not judge yourself in the process. And I know you understand process, but you're beating yourself up in the process. They want you to eliminate that. So it's very emotional and more psychological, subconsciously and spiritual. That's the read for me. But it's also confirmation that what you're doing right now is really refining yourself in that sense to become more of an actual, intuitive, which you are. To really clear your channel out. I feel like the past couple months you've been cleaning your channel out by different things. I've noticed in my life and that when I purge any type of frustration or anger for whatever reason, I just get it out of me, I'm clear. And so sometimes you just have to purge that out. And that's what they're saying they've been trying to do for you the past 2 months. That was kind of long-winded, but let's see if Chris can tie a nice pretty bow on that.
Yeah. Isaac, what's up? I love this for you. You have the Nine of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles is like my flower power card, like from Mario. She has these like little symbols. It looks just like flower power from Mario, like when you play that game. She also has grapes behind her. It's like about using, again, a specific skill that you have to increase your finances. But Nine of Pentacles is really heaven on earth. It is creating your own little heaven on earth and, doing something to make sure that you do that. Everything about her is her environment. She even has a tiny little snail. My totem animal is a snail, of course, right? And so the snail wears its home on its back. And it's all about everything, surrounding yourself with abundance, making sure that you're creating an abundance mentality, even things like that with her. You have the Three of Wands. What are you waiting for? Three of Wands, like these boats are just waiting for you to get on those boats so you can go on this great adventure, but great card of expansion, growth. I mean, Three of Wands is just, really good just in general. I even feel like there are things coming in for you.
Yep.
Intuitively and spiritually, High Priestess, like Scott basically said, all this, everything that you go here. But one thing I will say, High Priestess has no roof over her head. And so it really represents unlimited potential. Like there is no limit to what she can accomplish. It's just all like right here, right between her two ears. And so I think that, this is talking about your unlimited potential, and you end with a star. So, even better. And the star is about kind of like having a North Star. And one thing I will also say is Nine of Pentacles and the Star are single focus. She has this falcon on her hand on the Nine of Pentacles, so she is like very, very focused in on one thing. Star, same thing. Sometimes we need the big picture with the Star. We have to like zoom out. We have to look at everything that's going on in our lives so that we can see like, oh, this is working, this isn't. And yeah, that's what I get with the Star. Although Star is amazing. You know, make a wish is what I would say there with the Star as well. Yeah, it looks really good.
And the Star card to me is the attention card too. Like you are the star of your myth. Like you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like you're the focus. And so yeah.
The Star is like about being it's about being an example. You know, it's about becoming an example for other people. And so that, I mean, that's how I would say what you are probably working on or doing or working towards is doing something, you know, that other people will see.
Mm-hmm. What are you saying, Isaac?
I've been forced into that since our reading that we had, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend of mine from elementary school pass away at age 45.
Mm.
You know, I had a eulogy, and then that's for it was like that push to like this message needs to be said.
Yeah.
My mother's been diagnosed with liver cancer.
Mm-hmm.
We're going through that, so like you know that's kind of like a shaky waters.
And all within the past 2 months, right? That's all within the past few months, right? Just recently happened. Yeah.
That was 4 degrees cancer, so it's only exactly a month.
Yeah. So your guides are saying to you, there's a reason for this too, and some, like we said, some that will purge out of you a lot of what you've been holding on to from the generational shit we were talking about, right? And find out where your nurturing element lies, and that nurturing will be applied to you, and thus setting you free. So these situations will be beneficial for you.
Now on the paternal,
yes.
So I have my biological father, which I have no contact with.
Sure.
However, I have been watching videos about Nicaragua, so that could be a reason for that. And then there's my stepfather, and so those are two paternal energies.
It's your biological father. You even hear that from the biology. Like I said, that ancestry. So your actual blood father, you've inherited that from him. Okay, I don't get that from your stepfather. No, I don't get that type of energy. Your stepfather feels like free from that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he's like Mr. Trump or whatever, or some guy who's like rolling in the billions. but I feel like that. I didn't mean to trigger anybody by saying Trump. By the way, I apologize. Just talking about a rich man. We had enough triggers in the last couple of days. But yeah, I definitely feel. That he feels just light with the money energy. So it's more so about your biological father. It comes from that. So what I would do is go into meditation to heal any type of residuals from that you've inherited from the paternal side, and it's just confronting it. Your guides will help you on that. You don't have to do any type of psychological processing. Your guides are saying just releasing that and disassociating yourself from any type of residue from that side.
Roger that.
All right. But they're saying you're on the right path, right now. And so, and it's really not about how to make the money. It's about allowing the money. You know what I'm saying? And I always say, don't let money be the object. Let self-value be the focus, and let the nurturing of self be the focus, the emphasis. And that's where money follows, because you'll get the ideas of what you can do that brings in money, like different ideas, creative ideas of jobs and works that you could do. I mean, look at Chris, does like all these like secret businesses he's got going on there. I'm curious to know what that's all about, these secret services.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll just be like, oh, I just had this thought. I was saying when we were talking about the last person about this too, about inspiration coming through, and you'll just have these ideas. I'm like, I always think about Squatty Potty, like from fucking Shark Tank. This woman said, I'm just shitting. We need a little, a stool to lift your legs up so you can crap easier. And she's worth millions. And I'm like, poopery. Let's just put essential oils to, and these people had these simple ideas that made them multimillionaires, and then they get to do what they really love to do because of the money they made from those little ideas. So when you get to that self-nurturing, self-value state, these little ideas will just kind of come and be inspired to you, your higher self. So keep that in mind, though, Isaac, because you're a dreamer, they're saying. But I don't want you to just be a dreamer. And I think you might be using that title too much. I'm a dreamer. You're a breather. Breathe life into the dreams. The dream is just a template. You're going to breathe life into it and be the projector. I remember we talked about before about you being a projector, but understand you're breathing life into these dreams and ideas to then project it in that way. That's your power. Okay?
3 of Wands.
3 of Wands. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Awesome.
Love you, brother.
Yeah, love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Isaac.
Have a good night, man. I'll see you soon.
Good night.
No cheers.
Love Isaac. He's awesome. He was. We saw him at Unite the Light too, and it was great to see him in person. You see a lot of people in person too. I love that. We actually have a guest question from April Sparks.
Guest appearance.
Guest appearance from April Sparks here. I just quit a major full-time job. Curious is spirit season abundance next 6 months for me. Love y'all. Let's see. I just have a card on the floor. Give me a moment.
Oh, that happens to me every day.
I just have to acknowledge I'm not doing the tarot card, but it was a Princess of Cups. So,
Love it.
So what I get from that, and I'm not going to use the card, but it's just I had to acknowledge that because it fell. Here's what they're saying, April. They're asking, why did you take downtime from creative projects? Okay, and maybe you can fit this in more appropriately in your life. They're saying that for some reason your gateway to your success is through creative endeavors. So I know a little bit about. I don't know what your full-time job was, but I know what you're doing. I don't know. They're just seeing you working and doing marketing. Whether doing branding or something of that nature, like really getting into that and doing it for different people. And Chris's laugh is very telling when I said that. And they're saying that you'll be so proficient of this that you need to have a client roster and express yourself in that creative way. I'm not trying to take you away from Chris's channel by any means, but I definitely think that. Yeah, right. But I think like that's where they're really pushing you to be, and being able to do it at home so you can be a mom too at the same time. But they're saying that you might be questioning too much your creative abilities, and they're saying that you're second guessing yourself on creative abilities, and they're saying you're really great at this, and to expand and elaborate on this more so you can help others to build and brand and market their own businesses and so forth. You have really great ideas. And I know this from behind the scenes of LOL. And people need to hear your ideas of how you can maybe see someone else build their business in a sense. And so I think that needs to be expressed. Personally, I feel that needs to be expressed, and I feel like you will in the next 6 months. Will the money start pouring in like rain and stuff like that? Possibly not, but I think that you'll find in the next 6 months that you're on your way for that to happening, and you're building that to happen. You're finding the security in that sense. You're not clutching on to, I would say, crumbs. So I really feel like the idea is going to come to you in the next 6 months, probably within the next month or two. It's going to click, and then you're going to find great ways to bring in that abundance easily. Right? What do you think, Chris? Cross-check me.
Yeah, I think this looks amazing, April. So you already know this, but Knight of Cups in the world. I mean, the world is you, Taurus. So, I think that there are so many opportunities, so much growth available to you for the world. The world could absolutely be offering services to the world or on the World Wide Web or to me, right? Hopefully to me. And the Knight of Cups is like saying, get started, and very creative. I think it's funny that Scott said creative, because your next two cards are like the Fool and the Empress, so very abundant. Taurus again with the Empress, and she doesn't have to work very hard for her abundance, so let's make that a reality for sure. She just waves that wand and she's able to create abundance in front of her. The Fool is a new journey. It would be like the Fool to me says that you're over prepared, I think, which is funny because this comes up a lot for Tauruses that I read for. The whole like being over prepared, being more than prepared for your journey, needing to get started. And but the Fool is definitely he has tattered sleeves as well, which is standing out to me right now. And it kind of says that he goes from the Fool to the world, and he starts all over again as a Fool. And so he always is repeating this journey, and we all are repeating the journey in life.
Yeah.
And so it's like you're on your next stage of your journey is what this is saying to me. But very abundant. I believe it. I don't doubt it at all. So,
yeah.
Tons of abundance.
You got tons of ideas, April. Like I hop in that mind. It's like there's so much ideas and perspective, and and I think that people need that. And I think it's you just had a challenge of finding a pipeline to do it. And so I think you'll find the pipelines, plural on that. So I actually love that. I love what Chris said about it too. Next we have like I think 3 or 4 left, and then we can get into Leo season. I don't know how long you want to go on. I don't want to exhaust you, Chris.
No, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
As long as you need to.
So we have Ali wonderful, beautiful Allie. I heard I have a hard time deciding what to do on the internet. I haven't decided what my true gift is. I need guidance. Okay. Let's see. Because I think people give themselves too much hard time about, like, you know, career stuff, gift stuff. You know what I mean? I'm going to start there, Allie, and then I'm going to direct you, right? First of all, I think that it really isn't about, you know, finding what you need to do. It's about, like, what can you do now? Like, what interests you, and find things that resonate with you. I really feel like you're a good storyteller. I keep getting a storytelling vibe. And I think if you understand how to create stories and tell stories, if you're either creating them or taking stories of the past and turning into some sort of, you know, literature for people to read, I think that's your niche. And I think you don't even realize how much of a good storyteller you are. And I think if you are able to translate that through writing, or translate that through even fictional, you know, or even just true stories. Either way, I think that you need to dive into that. I hate to say need to, but it's almost like spirit urging you to do this. I think you'll find your way with that. You realize you've been using your gift all along. You just haven't realized that because you're so used to telling stories all the time that turn it into something. And many people would love to hear different stories and create different stories. I see so many YouTube channels. I'm sure you've seen this too, Chris, like where people like tell stories. They just narrate stories from other people, right? And people just listen and their stories in that way. I mean, Allie, you could even narrate it yourself and do it in that context. I mean, so many different ways. Start a blog with this. Once you start that process, I think you'll realize you'll be almost like a channeled writer in a sense. Because I think it's not so much of being a writer, because the writing is a tool to get it out, but it's that storytelling. Mm-hmm. It's a storytelling. I get the moon. I'm like, sorry, I forgot you're on the show. You go.
Oh, no, I was going to say, you know, one of my favorite quotes that I say all the time is from Gary Vee. He's like a social media guy, and he says, you know, why can't you be good at being yourself? And the sun reminds me to be myself, right? And so the sun, sometimes I think
I get the moon and you got the sun. How weird is that?
It is weird. You know, and what I would say is, I think the sun is saying, pay attention to your attention. The sun is a spotlight in our life. It shines a light on something that we need to pay attention to. Everybody always just reads this as the best card in the tarot. It's more than that. It is a spotlight. Right. Like your attention is trying to guide you towards something that you probably are good at. It could involve getting attention. Leo season, perfect time to get started right now. You have the Page of Pentacles. Scott said storytelling. Sure. Page of Pentacles is writing, studiousness, storytelling, messages. The list goes on and on there with the Page of Pentacles. So, I like that. And Nine of Cups is about finding fulfillment. But this is what really said to me, like, what, I think sometimes people say they don't know what they want to do, but it's only because they think what they want to do is not going to be successful. And, that's kind of like what I get here with the Nine of Cups. It's like, you do know what to do, but you just don't think that there's a way to make it be successful, but there is. So I think you already know is what I would say.
And I love that you said that, because people come to me all the time like, I just don't know if this brilliant idea is going to make money. I said, I'm a psychic medium making money that above than I ever thought I would doing that, because I was a composer making great money there. I would never thought, how can you make I can make six figures being a psychic? That's not possible. You know what I mean? And then life's just like, when it's your purpose, you find a way to, it finds a way to make it happen, right? And so I think it's so true. If you look at the stupidest things, that's why I say squatty potty again. Can we bring that up as a reminder that every little thing that if you find there's a value or someone needs it, it will become a moneymaker in a sense. And so I always come from a perspective, like before live, what do people need right now? Like, what do people need to hear right now? Or what's the current right now? And I always think about that aspect. And so when you put yourself in that position, no matter what you're doing, it will be a hit, because then people are going to find the value in it too. So I love that you said that, because many people are just like, how can I make money at being, a dentist? It's like, really? And so it's like, I agree with that 100%. All right. We have Tammy Miller.
Tammy.
She says, my ex has recently been flirtatious with me and going out of his way to talk to me. Is he seeing someone? Wait, so your ex has been recently flirtatious and going out of his way to talk to you. Is he seeing someone? Let me see, because that's a funny, interesting question. Here's the thing with your ex. I feel like he's in flux. Either he is stopped talking to somebody right now, or we're seeing somebody, but they're like not talking right now. So now he's kind of trying to find his way to muzzle in with you. I feel like something is on pause, right? And so now he's kind of flirting with you now, and because I feel like there's an unresolved relationship there. And so I think that he feels shady to me, to be honest with you. So I feel like he's got an energy of it's almost a Gemini energy. Let me kind of like get what I need in the moment right now. I'm kind of lacking this, so I can get this over here. So I'll get this over here. I mean, in his mind, it's playful. In his mind, it's like really nothing. Like I'm flirting. That's what I'm feeling right now. But he doesn't recognize. He's kind of bounces around and whatever he can get attention or whatever he can get what he needs from. So I just be very weary of this. It seems very self-focused, self-centered, but it feels like he's not resolved the situation that could potentially come back in, and then all of a sudden, and then he might pull back again. So, what would that mean? What do you read on that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like this. We have 3 threes, 3 of swords, 3 of pentacles, 3 of wands. So third party is the way I would read that for sure. And yeah, I really don't have much to add. Mercury retrograde, always a bad idea to go back to exes. So I wouldn't even bother touching that. So especially with that 3 of swords. If it was like something else, I wouldn't worry so much about it. But 3 of swords, like you said, I mean, he could be heartbroken right now, missing out on something. Right. Or, he could just be tugging on the heartstrings with the 3 of swords. So yeah, no.
Especially the 3 of pentacles. It's funny to get the 3. Was it 3 of wands, 3 of pentacles, and 3 of swords? And that's crazy. Swords, yeah. So see that, Tammy? That's 3 of parties is there. Yeah. But especially with the show you 3 of pentacles to me is like there's something secretive. There's like that's also like a secret person to me that it represents that as well. So. I would look. Here's my advice too. If you want to like enjoy the flirtation and have a physical relationship, go for it. But it's not. I wouldn't take it further with him. You just want to call him out? Okay, well, we kind of did. She says, going back, just want to call him out. Yeah. Yeah. And you know him better than I, but yeah, you can definitely call him back. Call him out for sure. Just don't show him this video because I don't want to hear from him. Why did you tell her this? And you ever think about that? Have you ever thought about that, Chris? Like you tell them you wonder if like the husband's going to come after you and be like, why'd you say this? You ever wonder about that?
I think like back in the day, yeah, I used to like think that, like, I wonder what these people are gonna say, or like if somebody gets a divorce and they like, then they bring you to court or something. Like my psychic told me that I had to divorce you.
That's so stupid. But it's funny. I've actually had it where I've actually read this woman's husband to filth, actually, and he ended up booking a session with me. He's like, "You didn't say any good things, but I was surprised that you nailed it all. So I just want to see what you think." Yeah. So like, okay, that's cool. I said, well, let's change this. Okay, Sophia Rodriguez. I think we'll shut it down in about 10 minutes. We'll conclude, and then we'll talk about Leo season, and then we'll conclude. We have Sophia Rodriguez. What do you all pick up for me during this upcoming Leo season? Okay, so these are more general questions. Sophia. Okay. The first thing I immediately got was the people who have been dishonest to you it's gonna come to light. I really feel like you're gonna expose a lot of lies during ego season. Listen to that. During Leo season. And I feel like whoever's been dishonest around you is going to come to light. And I feel like a lot of that separation with this lying energy. So I think that if you've been looking for the truth to be revealed on something, it will. And I think that's going to end up in certain relationships that have been around that don't need to be around any longer. And so it might even be a relationship that's really close to you that needs to now take a separation. But it's all for me to validate you. So in a sense, you're getting vindication in a sense. So even though the conditional aspect of it, like this relationship going away might not feel the best, but the fact you've been vindicated overshadows all of that. So I feel like the truth will be revealed to you in your relationships. And I heard moving on. Is what I heard. Moving on. So there might be a lot of moving on from things that you've been carrying or sitting in that finally get out of your way, and you're able to move on more. I would say, figuratively speaking. And yeah. And so a card fell out, so I'm going to pull it aside and we'll see if you get the card. It'd be fun if you do. What do you get, Chris?
Yeah, I think I just am hearing progress for you, so I think that you're making a lot of progress. You have the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles is normally no movement, but again, for you, I feel I read intuitively, and I feel more of this progress making feeling, and you end with the Ten of Pentacles. I'll just tell you what you end with. And so the Ten of Pentacles is building, leaving a legacy. It's everything you want and desire in your life. So I feel like you're making a lot of progress. Probably, like Scott said, you're cutting things out. So Five of Swords would be, cutting out the relationships. But I kind of see this as more for you, like some sort of message about maturity. Like I feel like you have gone through, there is a belief that all three guys on this card are the same person. But they're just at different levels of learning how to battle, basically, in life. And so I think you've been through like the 3 stages of the card, and it's like you have matured to a certain point. But this could be bringing blessings into your life at this time. So I feel like this is where the progress is coming from, is because it's almost like I don't really like when people say like, oh, you pass a spiritual test, because I don't really feel like spirit tests us necessarily. But it's almost like you pass a spiritual test, and now because you're like passing those tests, you're getting these blessings that are probably coming in.
That's great. I love that conclusion to it too. And I was just talking to a friend of mine today. I was just like, a lot of times when we do spiritual upgrades, some certain people have to leave, sometimes when you realize more about yourself, like certain people that are around, like can't be around anymore. So like, it's almost like a natural process. So I love that you kind of concluded that you added to what I needed, my initial read. But that's all good in that sense. Sport. Sophia. I couldn't find the name. Sport. Yeah.
Oh, good, Chuck.
Chuck. Yeah, buddy. But yeah, Sophia, pal. But yeah, Sophia. It's a good change in a sense. It's a really good indication of that. My favorite, Stephanie Penahara. What do you get for me this Leo season, please? All right. We're getting a lot of those questions. All right, Stephanie. What do you see for you? So to help you, you're intuitive, so you can pick up on the energy of Stephanie Penahara.
Yep.
Let me see. Leo season for you. I heard wait is over. Yeah, I heard the long wait's over. So I think in this season, I feel movement in career primarily. Not so much relationships. It's not relationship season for you. It's career time for you. So I feel like connections that needed to be established will be established. And not even just Leo season, but starting Leo season going into like October, November too. Like it's just, so in the next 3 to 4 months, there's going to be a lot more of that conclusion of career, right? So if there's contractual connections or anything you've been waiting on, they start kind of coming together and piecing together. And so I'm sorry to do this to you, Chris, but the 7 of Pentacles was there for her. It's, again, everything you've been planting seeds on is coming to harvest. And so I really feel that this is the time for you in this Leo season, but very much with career. I have to say, the reason why I don't feel relationships is kind of this season for you, it's more about, of course, work relationships, but romantic relationships and all that stuff is more so 2025 in that regard, in that reign. So don't fret if your career is blooming. That's okay. That's good. But I feel like the long wait is over in the sense of you start seeing the movement that you've probably been waiting on for a while. Chris?
Yeah, so I'm going to contradict Scott in just a second, but you have the 2 of Pentacles, which is about being very, very busy, and, kind of like the 2 of Pentacles, especially right now, we have so many retrogrades going into the end of the year. We'll have Mars in Leo. We have a lot of crazy energy in Leo. We'll have Mercury will be retrograding into Leo. Mars retrograde at the end of the year in Leo, and it's all happening in pretty much the same kind of general area. And so I think that we have to kind of it's a really important time to focus because we only have so much energy. Mars retrogrades basically is an energy suck, so I would make sure that you're focusing on like one thing at a time, and really putting your work into things that are working, being effective, being efficient, super important here. You have the Page of Cups, the Fool, and the 2 of Cups. So if you do want love, I mean, I don't really do psychic timing anyway, so it could come in 2025. But this looks like love to me, like a new beginning or a new connection coming in for you. One thing I will say is that the Page of Cups, this fish might not exist that he has in his cup here. That's kind of hard to see. And so, again, if you are working on anything, like any big dreams, any big goals, or if you're like thinking about starting something new work-wise, this would be you, kind of like manifesting it in reality with that card. And the 2 of Cups. The thing about the 2 of Cups during Leo season is it's Leo. So 2 of Cups is you and your higher self, and this is about especially in like work or career, this is about you communicating with your higher self. You could be getting these messages, especially right now. We have Neptune and Pisces, especially crazy dreams, right? And also Leo is very intuitive energy. And so like, could it be love? Sure, whatever, if that's what you want. But the Two of Cups is also about like paying attention to the messages you're receiving, and manifesting those in reality, because this is like communication with spirit,
Right.
you know, more importantly.
Well, actually, I don't think it's. I think we're actually still in sync. You know, she says here. That's why I kept her comment up. She's not. She's career focused, career love. But I think that.
There you go.
Yeah, and so, but even though you were saying about the love, like, you know, I feel like when you pull the Two of Pentacles, I feel like, you know, she might, the fact that the juggling might be a problem. That once she establishes the career, the love comes in. Then, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, once a career is like riding and it's like connected, then the love comes in after that. So we kind of were saying the same things in a sense. And I agree with you on the psychic timing. That's why I'm always kind of like, unless it's like a date, I'm like, here it is. But it's always flexible. I've always said that too, Chris, before when she's asked questions. I've always said to her, I'm like, love will come when you establish the career. Love, that's the ticket to love, in a sense. You know what I mean?
Ticket, yeah.
Right. And so I think you're spot on too, actually, with that. 100%. All right. Hopefully that helps. Steph,
Yeah,
I'm working hard on high level international biz. Work relationships, and what she's building too is basically relationships and work and connections, like we were saying.
Yeah.
So we're both right on the money with that. So, all right, we have Sarah Cheney. We have 3 more, and then we can go into just briefly tap into Leo season generally, and then we will conclude the live. Sarah Cheney says, I would like to spend more time with the boyfriend because I travel a lot. He's thinking about working part-time with me and traveling a little, which also makes sense financially for him. Are you picking up about this idea, timing, etc., any ideas? Okay, we just talked about psychic timing. She wants to know about timing on this. Okay, let me summarize. So boyfriend to work with you part-time and traveling a little, which also, okay. I'm confused. I'm like, why even ask the question? It feels like you guys have already decided this already. So it's just like, you know, maybe you just want me to cross check it. Sure, I see that being a possibility, and I feel like helping him, you know, with this aspect, working with you, it will help the relationship, but it pulls him away from the unresolved that he has currently. You know, so the child, you know, the mother, the child energy, it's helped him to kind of been, you know, pull him away from that a little bit to move on, is what I feel like. And so I think that's good. I feel like it'll happen. And I think you guys will work well, you know, fine. So yeah, the logistics, like you're saying, well, that's something that's things are always kind of bumpy when it comes to logistics of things. We have to figure out and be strategic on that nature. That's just life. That doesn't mean there's some sort of, you know, issue of making it happen. So I do feel like it would start happening. It would probably take when I do timing, I'm very certain about if it is in this bracket or within the bracket. I'm getting like 4 months. You know, 3 to 4 months. I think that this will kind of, you know, latch on and be a reality in that sense. So yeah, I think it will. It seems fun and light. I just think the timing isn't quite now, because I think he's still trying to work things out with himself in his past life or the current life with a kid. And I think that might be stalling things right now, but it'll pick up its pace. What do you think about that, Chris?
Yeah, I really like this for you, mostly because you have the 3 of Pentacles at the end, which is like, if on a question like this would be the best possible card that you could possibly ask for. So it's like, you know, 2 people working together. Also, I would have I don't do psychic timing, but I would have said 3 months, just like Scott said anyway, because of the 3 of Pentacles. So there you go. But 9 of Pentacles is, you know, a card of independence. There might be some things about independence, like maybe one of you needs more space than the other. I don't really see that being that big of an issue. Right. Ace of Pentacles. You know, the other thing I'm getting here is something about money. Like maybe that's part of the thing here is like there needs to be more money to be able to do this. But you know, to me, this says that the money will be there when you need it. So, you know, I see this working for you, and especially if you work on a team. You know, like I said, 3 of Pentacles says as long as you work together, things will work out.
Yeah, and then she says, okay, just wondering because because of the hitches, if we were looking the wrong way or something or missing something. No, not at all. It's just the timing of it, right? Like I feel for him, it's more about like he wants it, but it's like it's leaving an older paradigm for him. You know what I mean? So it's just clearing that out in time. Then I feel like you guys will take off and do that, you know, for sure. I mean, you guys have a really good synergy, you know, together in that sense, and I feel like the working relationship would be great. So. Awesome. She says, Chris, nice to have your reading. Yes, because it's not Benjamin. It's actually, her name is Sarah. And so she's one of my regs. my regulars.
Nice.
So yeah. Sometimes I like for my regulars to get another read too, because sometimes like confirms like what I've been telling them. So it's good to have the other perspective as a confirmation. So I'm like, please listen to Chris.
That's true.
Katie Wright says, "Love you too, Sarah. Thank you." Katie Wright, any advice for love? Been single for a couple years after divorce. Let's see. Any advice for love? Well, we need a whole session, my dear. This will take some time. So how are we going to narrow this down? I'll simplify. Because I mean, the obvious to me, like I just, even psychologically speaking, what stands out in the question is divorce. You know? So let me see. Okay, here's what I feel about the love situation. They show me an image of you kind of just like wandering and like just kind of looking around, you know? And I think they're saying you're not really having much direction right now. You know, and it's safe to say every divorce is difficult, right? And not everyone's like, oh, I'm divorced, fuck, I'm going to move on, right? But I feel like this divorce, the rug was pulled beneath from you. And there's still a naivete to you. Like there's some still, and I don't mean this in a negative or dismissive way, but there's a little bit of a childlike nature when it comes to your relationships that you're still kind of floating and like, what's for me? And the rug will pull beneath me, but like, what do I do next? So they're just saying you need more direction. More certainty on what you need in your relationships and really kind of defining that and emphasizing that clearly. It's not just saying, I just want someone to love me. I just want to feel good. They're saying being specific. Look, and let me read this divorce to filth for a moment. I don't need someone who's conditionally controlling over me. I don't need someone who's conditionally controlling and partial in my life. I need someone who's actually supportive because they want to be supportive of me and vice versa, and they're considering of my voice and I'm also considering of their voice. There's that mutuality, because I feel this last divorce, the situation, there seems to be some sort of conditional controlling aspect to it. And almost, you know, looking for you on the surface level of things. And so I feel like right now you just start realizing that there is more to you than just being a lover or a girlfriend or a wife. There's more to that on the individual level, and that you determine, or that you actually need to receive that in return and be more definitive about that. I don't want to overcomplicate or over complex the sentiment here, but they're saying you need more direction right now. You feel kind of lost, and you're just kind of seeing what works, and it's like relationships should not be that, you know, vapid. Okay, I'm not saying you are, but I want you to be more definitive now based on your experience, and I think then you'll find the patience and the nurturing aspect to get yourself back into the rhythm again, because they're saying you're also petrified of getting love again. You're also a little petrified. Like, I want it, but I'm scared, you know? And so what do you get on that, Chris?
I mean, really, there's nothing for me to add. I mean, you have the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands is direction. You have the Knight of Wands here, which is direction as well. Eight of Wands was traditionally the arrows of love. So you're always telling the universe what you want. Scott basically said this. The universe is responding with, like, sign symbol synchronicity. So with the Eight of Wands, it actually means quick success. It's my card of socializing. So you have to go socialize, meet people, but we have to be focused in a direction to get what we want with the Eight of Wands. I mean, it's literally a card of pulling an arrow back, and, you know, it's not ready, fire, aim. It's ready, aim, fire with the Eight of Wands. You have the Death card, the fear. Everybody on the card is afraid of the Death Rider except for the child. The child kind of represents more being playful, getting into this playful energy, and also the king is dead. So it's like the old thing is dead.
Right.
And you're moving on to something new. And actually, you have brighter days to look forward to. The sun is coming up between these two pillars here from the moon card. So it's like things are actually lightening up. You also have the Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands is the true builder in the tarot. And so he goes out and he really looks to, like, build something of substance. Like, we're talking about the positive version. I'm sure you hear every, you know, reader out there who says he's inconsistent and all this other stuff, but we're talking about solutions here. And the solution with the Knight of Wands is building something great, and also being open to mystery. You know, kind of like finding people who are different than your usual type. I think we all have a type. I know I have a type. I'm sure Scott has a type. I know Scott's type. And what I would say here is that, you know, sometimes we have to break that type, because usually our type isn't good for us, and it's like things usually. I find that the right people for us were maybe just like a little bit afraid of too, because maybe they would make us have to like work on ourselves or do something to better ourselves to be with them. I kind of get that. That's why I'm saying that. I never say that to anyone. So there you go.
I love that. That's awesome. Yeah, so I totally agree with all that too. I mean, because I would have to agree with it because you agreed with me, so it's kind of like a circle of an agreement, right?
Yeah.
If I disagree, then I disagree with myself, right? Yeah, and I think like I just want to add on to that, like saying that like it's being really definitive. They want to just hound that into you, and one of my pet peeves is repeating myself. So if I do, that's spirit telling me I need to. So. Yeah, I hate repeating myself, and when I do, it's like my guy's like, they didn't understand that, Scott. Say it again. That's why I spend 10 minutes on a segment on LOL with you, Chris.
At least.
Oh, here's Scott on the soapbox again, right? Because
most times they get up and get a snack, right?
The problem is the problem is I'm reading people's minds in the comments or whoever's watching. I'm like, I gotta say this because so I'm reading what they're what they're hearing, and so like I gotta clarify this to that one, and I should stop caring so much. I guess right.
Yeah.
Christy Rossi is the last one. Let's make sure there's not another PayPal here. And guys, we're going to close down reading. So if you want to get one in, get it in now. God, I sound so New Yorker. If you want to get it in, so we're going to close it down. So send your payments now if you want to get a read with Chris or I. If not, we're going to do one more and close it down. And we'll just kind of briefly close off with about Leo season, what to expect, generally speaking. Last but certainly not least is Christy Rossi. She says, I'm having a hard time writing for my blog. What is holding me back when it's something I thought I really wanted to do? Oh, okay. This is easy. I mean, hello. What is holding you back writing your blog? Writing your blog is holding you back from writing your blog. You're putting too much emphasis. What I'm feeling here, and this could be a psychological read based on how you structured the sentence, but also I'm getting an intuitive read on this. Like, you're just overthinking it too much. It really is that superly simple. Instead of just writing the shit out of it, and I would say when there's writer's block, then just write something about writer's block and watch how things flow. I don't want you to think about what you need to write or what you should write. Say to yourself, what would people love to read? Right? And what would people like? What are people needing right now? Like we said before in another read, ask yourself, what do people need right now? What are you feeling right now? So I just think you're lacking the inspiration to do it. You put so much emphasis on making it a to-do list that you're just resisting doing it. And so understand what the benefit is of doing that is, and understand that they want to describe it as you getting into a world. You know what I mean? And so when you get yourself into this different world, you're like, I can like write and be in this different world. Then you start realizing, wow, like I really love just flowing this out and being I don't want to say a storyteller, but informist. You're kind of telling people, giving people a heads up on things. That's what they're saying about your niche with writing. So I think that when you look in that context, the inspiration will flow. You don't have to write about anything very specific. They're saying you're giving yourself too much hard time on the topics. Be simple about this. Be cliche. Be general. A lot of messages that spirituality we talk about is very general, and so, but it's your expression of it that's really different. Everything's been told in the spiritual communities, right? And so, but everyone has a different voice that resonates differently. So sometimes take something general and use it in a different voice. Yeah. She says, getting to a different world. I like that. Really, be creative about that. Christy, what do you get on that, Chris?
Yeah, I loved what you said about getting into a different world. I mean, King of Cups has explored his emotions to such a deep level that he kind of, understands how he really feels about things. But he's like willing to explore things that have never been explored before. So it's like maybe you need more interesting topics, right, or to find more interesting ideas or things that interest you, like that you actually feel, not like things that the world is telling you to write about, whatever you want to write about. Justice is to do, part of justice is doing what works. So I'm a big fan of doing what works and, making sure that you are, kind of following systems, especially, for writing a blog or, any type of content creation. So the justice card is about creating balance in the sense that you double down on the good stuff, as I love to say. Yep. And then you have the Emperor. It's like you're ready for action. I think you already have the ideas to be able to write what you need to write. So I think you just need to write, like Scott said. So
yeah,
but I love that. Don't listen to any of that. I think the world advice was the best advice.
Yes. Here's the thing too that my guy was just saying: make a list of like things that you can take people into a different world with. Like, I want to take people down this lane. Like, make a list of this and like get yourself inspired with that topic, and so that will get the juices going. Sometimes we do have to be technical, right, Chris? Like if we're thinking about like what content we want to make, the content we want to make, sometimes you have to brainstorm a little bit and be a little technical, and that's okay too. Don't defeat yourself in that process either. So yeah, very simple. All right, I think that was the last one of the reads, and I think we're on good timing because I would say 8 o'clock is great. We have 15 minutes maybe to shoot the shift, as we say, right?
Yeah.
And kind of get into like Leo season, and let me just see something here really quickly. Scott, you're much softer than I pictured you from LOL. Well, I'm very soft in my readings. If I was such a harsh person, if I was a soft person, I think all my clients would have been like writing bad reviews about me. LO is just a different. It's a different platform for us. I think that we're still finding our way. We have it on us. We call it LOL, so we have to be funny, and so yeah. Okay, so let's talk about Leo season really quick before we close. What we can expect. I kind of feel. Collectively speaking, I always get the recognition vibes for Leo season, but I feel like generally speaking, like it could also backfire depending on where you're at in your path, right? And where you're at in your spiritual journey, because, I always feel like if you have a lot of congestion from the Taurus season, the unresolved from Taurus season, that's going to definitely come to head, in Leo season, because a lot of what you've been hiding from yourself is going to get attention. A lot of the things that you maybe have been doing that has been causing chaos that you're not aware of is going to get that attention. So don't let that be a deterrent from you from looking at it, embracing, thank God this is coming to light and I'm getting the attention shine out of my shitty behavior, or maybe things I had been like tolerating too much, right? Like I'm seeing this now. It's giving that attention, because then when you resolve that, then you'll get the right attention, or you resolve that within yourself, and it will allow other people to recognize you for who you really are. So let's take advantage of that. Let's start. And those who have been suppressing this, and we'll get your input too, Chris. But those who've been suppressing this, I don't know, like we just talked about Christy, right? I want to do this, but I don't know how to do that. When you allow yourself to just be yourself, I know it sounds so cliche, but just try it. Something like I hear it all the time as a bumper sticker, but just allow yourself to say, this is what I feel and I just want to project it, or this is how I'm feeling in the moment. It might be abrasive, but maybe I can like soften it up later, or maybe I can clean it up later, but at least you got it out of your system. Because a lot of times we purge that, we give attention to something, we feel better. And then we just got to get it out of ourselves. I think Leo season is going to bring a lot of the purge, a lot of recognition to the good and the bad and the ugly in a sense, but every season, no matter how difficult, because we had the seasons we had back to back has been very challenging. What was it? Aries, Cancer, Taurus, now Leo. I mean, they're extreme, and so. But I would say it's always important for us to take advantage of these times to heal. I would say summon this Leo energy to draw attention, to bring out the truth, and to express. Utilize this energy into your favor, into your benefit. What do you think, Chris? What's your summary of Leo season?
Yeah, I was going to save this to the end, but again, I mean, spiritual loogie, like I said, we're coming off all this energy that we've had all year in Taurus, all this like trapped energy here. Taurus is, kind of really, even we have Uranus in Taurus as well, which is like this strong desire for freedom. I've been doing these readings where every reading basically says that you need to move towards freedom. And now I think we have to, cough that loogie up by slapping ourselves on the back. Leo, is the spine.
Right.
But I also think we need to, the spine is kind of like the structure of the body. Without the spine, you'd be a snail like me. And so I think that we need to start adding structure to our crazy, wildest dreams. We have Neptune going retrograde as well, which has been super interesting to me because it's kind of like that dream world. We have Saturn and Pisces right there with it, basically. And so I think we have this opportunity to, again, bring our dream down to earth. I tell everyone that, like, if there was ever a time where you could do something totally crazy, it's like right now. But you have to add that structure into the real world to make it, to bring it into this reality. So I think that that's the time we're in. I love what Scott said about, kind of like the whole attention thing and attention on negative things as well. So I think we need to be careful of that. But one thing I would say about Leos, and just like Leo season in general, is sometimes I think Leo like almost cares too much about what other people think, the people around them. And that causes them to not act as they should or as they want to even. They're a little bit reserved in that sense, even though they're not really, we don't think of Leo as being reserved. And so like Scott said, I would let it out. Right? Maybe you have to soften the edges or whatever, but
Right.
whatever you want to do, let it out.
I love that. It's awesome. Well, Chris, it was awesome having you on, my friend.
Yeah, awesome. Of
We should
course.
probably make like a monthly something with others, bring people together. Because
Absolutely.
what I love seeing is the audiences kind of combining together. I love seeing that in the chat. So it's good for us to maybe sacrifice our time together so we can bring other people together. How about that, right?
Of course.
Remind people again where to find you.
Yeah, Minnow Pontero on YouTube, dentmakersutl.com if you want free Dentmakers content. So definitely check that out.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna sign off. Stay backstage, okay, Chris? Because I want to close with you at the end. So, thank you for coming on. It's been awesome working with you, and we'll see you on LOL on Monday.
Yes, we will.
All right. Guys, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a wonderful night. Let me close this down too. All these overlays everywhere. It's great. So you guys know where to find me every Thursday. For those of you who are interested in booking a private one-on-one reading with me, go to scottcruzpm.com. The link is in the description. I offer, of course, life readings, intuition builder. If you're really interested in developing your own psychic abilities, mediumship abilities, past life regressions, all that stuff, I do offer sessions of that nature, as well as mediumship sessions. God, I feel like I'm slurring my words. Mediumship sessions too. If you're interested in connecting with a loved one who's crossed over, of course, that is a wonderful session I offer both on phone and Zoom, whatever the case is. If not, join me here every Thursday, same time, 6:00 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Got a tongue twister there too. Or catch me on LOL, Leading Out Loud. We do that every Monday. We did a great recording this Monday. Actually, for I think Mama Bear, I don't know her name, I forgot her name, but we talk about spirit animals. So if you're into spirit animals, definitely check that out too. I want to thank my wonderful mod Nina for being a wonderful moderator, and April Sparks for joining the crew too. It's lovely having your guys' duality of energy in the mix. I appreciate every single one of you guys. You guys are lovely, and please remember, both you guys are the gods and goddesses of your own myth. What do you want to create? Much love. Good night, everybody.
He said it was like a Devin or David.
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table or not. You said like there's something in your end table that you this too.
My God, we're crazy.
Yeah, he's saying hi, baby girl. He's saying hi, baby girl. And is there significance with like image of a rose at all?
He would
Does that
always
make sense?
give me a rose.
Okay, so he's like doing one now. He's saying to work with some sort of like vibrational machine. Somehow a way to work with like machinery and vibration.
I work with horses, and there's actually some magnawave therapy that's vibrational.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
So he doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Allow yourself to hear yourself. Allow yourself to feel yourself. Allow yourself to talk to yourself. Allow yourself to respond to yourself. That's looking within.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I said, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here?
There's a reason why we're on this timeline. There's a reason why we've chosen to be in this awakening. I say we're going through a spiritual awakening.
So I don't just come on here and talk bull and repeat. I'm living this stuff.
In harmony.